You know, I think if you look around at what is going on the internet right now, um, there is a big push for positivity. There is a big push for people to be a little bit more enlightened about their lives. And I think that this is a really good thing. I think it's good because so many of us have allowed negativity to take over our lives a bit, to have an impact on us. I'm also not one of these people who thinks that someone can be entirely positive all the time. And I don't think that any real human being can sit there and say, nothing makes me angry, nothing makes me sad, nothing makes me emotional. You know, the lack of emotion is psychopath, right? If we don't have emotions, if nothing touches us a little bit, we become a psychopath. We become indifferent to the world. So I don't think that having negativity in our lives is a bad thing, and to some extent it's really healthy, because I think that a lot of the good that we can do can evolve from the negative aspects of our lives. If we go through hard events, if we go through challenges, struggles, and things like that, many times that will impart you with the knowledge that you need to help other people, to bring value into this world, and to be an inspiration for others as well. But I think the real problem that we have is more that we allow the wrong things to make us angry. We allow the wrong things to put us into a struggle. That we allow almost meaningless things at times to have a real impact on our lives. You know, as a young man, I was told that I had to follow a certain path. Now, this isn't my mother's fault. It's not my family's fault. They all believed that in order to be successful in life, you had to go graduate from high school, go to college, go on a career path, get more and more education, get a secure job, and everything like that. But the problem for me was that was never really what I wanted. You know, I knew I wanted to serve in the military, and I knew that I never really wanted to be sitting there and working a 9 to 5. Not that that's a bad thing at all. It just wasn't for me. And I also knew that there was some aspects of me that absolutely hated school, that hated the idea that I was learning about things that never really had anything to do with what I wanted to do with my life. But if you look at my history, you know, I did go to the military, but when I got out, college and grad school, went right into a PhD program. And the problem was, you know, I did well at it. I was actually a very good graduate student. I was very good at what I was studying, which was political science. I was very good at creating theory. I put a lot of work into it. But the problem was that I was lying to myself, because I believed that going on that path was what I was supposed to do. And at the end of the day, I wasn't putting that, you know, 15, 16 hours of work a day on the PhD in for myself. I was doing it to please other people. Now, I had a really formative moment that kind of pushed me toward the light and taught me that that wasn't the path that I wanted to take. And it happened when I took a trip out to Greece. I was working with a group of students from Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity. And I was selected to be one of the facilitators for their trip. Because of my educational background, they wanted me to facilitate discussions about philosophy. And so we went to the site of the Oracle at Delphi. right? And you have two areas of Delphi. That you have Upper Delphi, that's what the site where the Pythian games were held. They were kind of like the ancient Olympic games, but they were for the goddess Pythia. And then Lower Delphi, which is where the oracle spoke. And the area is beautiful. It's up in the mountains, and there's these ruins everywhere. And you see the where the oracle was. There's like three or four columns, I think. It used to be a complete circle, but now it's just broken. And there's mountains surrounding the whole thing, and you get a cool vision of the skyline below the mountains because you're already high, but you know you have peaks behind you, and then land to the other side, and then you're on this ledge where there's all this beautiful stuff, all these beautiful ruins. And it was kind of the off season there. The students had a discussion about religion and what the oracle meant to ancient Greece, and whether or not religion should have such an importance in our society as to allowing us to make decisions. And I'm not going to get into that debate here, but while they spoke, I didn't want to interrupt them, so I went off and I sat on a rock, and I'm looking around, and there's no one there. There's the students, then there's some of the facilitators off the side, me, and then there's this column of ants going off on a hunt, trying to bring food back to their nest. And I'm looking around and I'm saying to myself, wow, this used to be the Disneyland of the ancient world. You see all the ruins. People used to come from all over Asia and Africa and Europe to come to get advice from the oracle. But now those people are dead. And aside from a few major historical figures, we don't know much about the life of the average Greek. You know, I'm sure there's some chronicles out there, but you know, we don't know much about their daily worries, what they worried about within their family, you know, how their marital relations were like, what their how they parented their children, how they ate, how they spent their off time, what did they do for fun, what did they do for as a family, what did they do when they worried, when they got sad, when they got depressed, when they had to pay bills, what did they do when negativity crept up into their lives. And then I got to thinking, you know, I said to myself, Chris, 100 years from now, just like everybody who came here to Delphi in ancient times, you're going to be dead. You're going to die someday. So is your family. So are all your friends. So is everybody whose opinion you ever worried about. And in 100 years, this world will be a different place with different people. Now, that might sound morbid, but in the moment, it liberated me. Because my next thought was, dude, you've been here for what, 30-something years? How much longer do you have left here? You know, maybe 40, if you're lucky. Why would you waste a moment of this life worrying about things that aren't moving you forward, that aren't bringing you closer to where you want to go, that have no real impact on you except for your ego and except for what other people are thinking about you? That means that every time your heart gets broken over a relationship, every time you're sitting there and you're facing a defeat in your graduate school career, you are doing that not for you, but you're sitting there and you're getting sad because of the meaning for your ego and what other people have defined for you as success. And so that was the trip I came home from. And a few months later, I dropped out of graduate school and began my fitness career. I'd already been training people on the side, but I had this graduate school thing that I was supposed to be doing. You know, I'd been a personal trainer for a long time before that. And I never wanted to fully commit to it because my family told me that I needed to be a PhD in political science. And I wasted years on that. And then I wasted more years with different relationships where that person thought that I was supposed to continue on that path. And every time I put up resistance, as far as wanting to fit into some mold that somebody else wanted for me, the relationship would come down in flames. And I would end up again with a broken heart, getting depressed, getting sad. So this turned out to be a really long video, but I have to bring this back to a lesson for all of you. And the lesson is this: what you need to do with your life for you is you have to sit down and take a good look at your worries, at your fears, at things that are making you sad. Some of those things might be very important. They might be things that you know, maybe your business isn't successful right now and you're trying to push through and you're trying to figure out a way, and you need to be persistent to do that. But some of those things might be a little bit more meaningless. And it won't be easy for you to tell which ones are meaningless and which ones aren't at first. It's very hard for any person to do. But what you have to do is ask yourself questions. Right? This is making me sad. This is making me angry. This is making me depressed. Why is it making me angry? Why is it making me sad? Why is it making me depressed? And then the next question you have to ask yourself is continuing to pursue this going to bring me closer to where I want to go? And if it is, then you have to keep it. If it is not, then you have to make the very hard decision of cutting it out of your life and moving forward. So I hope that this video has been helpful, even if it is long. And if you have any questions for me, you just hit me up at info@warriorsoulapparel.com. Be sure to check out our podcast, the Warrior Soul Podcast. We've got Combat Flip Flops, the guys from Combat Flip Flops coming on Friday. And if you guys have any questions for them, they just got a big deal on Shark Tank. And they've been all over the world doing some amazing things, helping to build economies in war-torn countries. And, you know, check out some of our amazing content at warriorsoulagoji.com. And if you want more of my fitness content, check out chrisalbertfitness.com. That's it for today, and I will talk to you all soon. Peace.